And people will ask me, like, what do you really think about Frank Dukes? And to be perfectly honest, this is what I tell them. It is said that Frank Dukes had unusual speed, control, and strength with his kicks. In fact, he told Black Belt magazine that some of the competitors in the Kumite even nicknamed him the Flying Horse because of his aerial kicks. After Sheldon Lettich saw Jean-Claude Van Damme in No Retreat, No Surrender, he brought the actor to the attention of Frank Dukes.
And it's actually Sheldon who brought, I got to give Sheldon credit in this. He brought Jean-Claude to my attention because he called me up excited one day and he goes, Frank, I just found your lookalike. I go, what? He says he's in this movie, No Retreat, No Surrender. I just saw the trailers. We got to go see this.
Sure.
So, and we were best of friends. I loved Sheldon. There's a part of me that feels so betrayed. You have no idea. I mean, I really, really, truly loved Sheldon. And maybe his head got spun by some pretty evil people who were around me at the time. You know what I mean? I don't know what poisoned our relationship. I just know that he's not been ethical in the way he's dealt with me. Okay. But we went over there, and if you can imagine this, here's this guy doing this flying kick off the side of a guy's, shoulder. And I'm going, I just did that in class. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going, he's doing the helicopter kick, which I said, well, I never do it that way. I said, I always tuck my leg,
Yeah, sure.
All right. I said, but I like it for film. That shows way better.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, Sheldon, I go, and then I showed Sheldon a picture of me and a picture of Jean-Claude, and we put it side by side back in the day, and you're going like, that's Jean-Claude. I go, no, that's me.
Which is one reason why Van Damme got cast to play Dukes as the lead in Bloodsport, which we'll talk about more in a future video. But as far as Frank Dukes' kicking ability goes, here's something I find rather interesting. And just for the record, no, I am not drinking the Frank Dukes Kool-Aid. I know there are people out there that think everything associated with Frank Dukes is fraudulent, like it's all fake. And then there are other people out there that believe everything about Frank Dukes. Now, everyone's free to believe what they want to believe. And people will ask me, like, what do you really think about Frank Dukes? And to be perfectly honest, this is what I tell them because this is where I'm at. I think there's a lot more legitimacy towards him than most people realize. That's where I'm at. And there's several reasons because of that. In fact, I'll take it even farther and tell you about a future video I want to make about a theory. You may think it's a little out there, but trust me, it is very interesting. But going back to Frank Dukes' kicking ability, here's what I find interesting. So there was an interview on slashfilm.com where he stated, I was born with my foot so pigeon-toed that it actually went backwards. My foot, it could go 180 degrees the other way. So to compensate, they put me in these metal boots, and because of the braces and how the legs were locked together, a steel bar locked them together, you couldn't even waddle, So I have all these memories of falling downstairs and crawling on my knees. It was horrible, and it was painful, but I got over it. He further elaborated it in an interview on UltimateActionMovies.com where he said, when some of my classmates were cruel, mocking me out, calling me that crippled kid because I was born severely pigeon-toed, rather than choose to be angry, I actually felt pity for them. My tiny legs were put into a boot with a bar that was painful to wear, and that left me with both a high physical and emotional pain threshold, which I think helped me later in life. At this point, it's interesting to consider that Frank Dukes has a genetic condition, because he was born with both of his legs turned inside out, pigeon-legged. And although they were corrected with brackets, turning them back to like a normal position, which allows them to throw roundhouse and other kicks with twinkling speed. When I first heard this, read about this years ago, prior to ever talking to anybody that's known and trained with him, prior to talking to him himself, I thought that was a load of BS because I was going with that popular narrative that basically Frank Dukes is a fraud. So because of that, I thought this whole pigeon-toed thing, you're just reading it, you're like, what? But not anymore. In fact, here's an interesting video with his nephew.
So for all of you guys out there, I just want you to know, I always told you, I was born, my feet were like this. And it's kind of a genetic thing, and it actually helped me and made me actually faster than normal because of the way, sort of like a rubber band, how everything kind of turned inside when they made me normal. And to show you it's genetic, this is my nephew. Moshe, show them what we're talking about. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
So we're able to do that. Just to see, do it again so they can see it again. All right. And this is how Moshe used to get out of school. This is how he'd freak out his teachers and get out of school.
Anyway, I have a very interesting theory when it comes to Frank Dux. Now, I don't know how Frank Dux is going to feel about this. I don't know how his detractors are going to feel about this, but I find it quite interesting, and I'm going to make the video anyway, and I'm going to share it. And some of you will probably think it's a little out there, but I think if you sit on it and digest it, you'll realize I might actually be onto something.
You may have something here.
Anyway, you're not going to want to miss that video, so if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. In the meantime, check out some of the other Frank Dux content. For example, a recent interview I did with them talking about making sense of the real Kumite, or did you really train with Senzo Tanaka? Anyway, check out all those videos and more. There's a Frank Dux playlist on the channel, and until next time,
Keep an open mind.